So one of my followers sent me this guy's video. I blocked him. I'm not going to engage with this guy. This guy's just completely oblivious to reality and just not a good defender of his belief system and just can't grasp simple concepts. So I guess he's on his channel raging on the footnote thing. He can't grasp the fact that the footnote is a command to pay attention, that this verse can be translated a different way. And massive amounts of scholars, legendary ones, actually agree that it should be translated a different way. But did he address the concept or the argument? No. He went off and did the footnote thing, then went to chat GTP. Nah, brah. The chat GTP thing was simply a thing that I used to show you scholars agree. It had nothing to do with me breaking down the argument. And his own chat GTP rebuttal cooked himself, because it shows you that it can be translated a different way. So are you going to engage with somebody like this that really lacks the basic common sense, logic, and reasoning to have a conversation? Nah, man, you can't. You're going to waste your time. Not to mention that he's an excuse maker. I asked him to show me the Son of God in the Old Testament, being worshipped, being honored, being prayed to. Then he said, he's the angel of the Lord. Simple, see? No, nobody in the Bible tries to say that Christ, by the way, he was the angel of the Lord back there. And I asked him to show me the Trinity. Danced around, played theological acrobatics, trying to play build to God. Nobody in the Bible teaches what he believes. So not only is he not honest with the conversation, he can't even exegete the Bible properly. He can't show you anybody trying to back up and corroborate what he believes, because he's in fantasy land.
It's sad. I don't know if you remember watching my latest video now, on that other guy about Hebrews 1:8. Well, anyway, he's like, before this video, he's like, yeah, we should actually get together and have a discussion, because I'm a Trinitarian and he's a Trinitarian, and he wants to understand where I'm coming from and blah 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 blah. Then he made that video, which was really horrible, and that's why I made that video responding to that thing. And at the end of the day, I was like, all you got is just showing you're ignorant to the subject, because you're using footnotes first of all, and you're misrepresenting what the footnotes say as well. Only rookies use footnotes when you're going to hermeneutics and exegesis. So you use ChatGPT. You know what? Let's use ChatGPT just for you. So you see, you are a rookie, hence my point, hence why you make a excuse not to debate me.
And the ignorance within Trinitarianism continues. Did he address my argument with the fact that major scholars, some of the largest scholars, Westcott, Moffat, Goodspeed, others that are giants of scholarship, agree that it should be translated as God is thy throne, or your divine throne, like Psalm 45:6 in the RSV translates. So this isn't just a footnote. It's a well-known fact. It can be translated as your throne, O God, or your throne is God, because the verb is not in the Hebrew. It has to be added in the Greek, and they don't know exactly where to put it. Okay, so rather than address my argument, he goes off into a tangent, tries to talk about the footnote. I address syntax. I address interlinears. I go through the Hebrew and the Greek. I go through scholarship. Okay, so to say that I just rely on footnotes is stupid and it's not accurate. Okay, this person constantly mischaracterizes what I do and just says, oh, you just rely on footnotes. No, the footnote is the least of his problems. The fact is, even Trinitarian scholars acknowledge this can be translated as God is thy throne. Your throne is divine, which completely destroys his argument. So rather than deal with the scholarly context and the scholarly argument, he goes and gaslights and strawmans and goes to, he just goes to footnotes. See, it shows that he lacks depth. He lacks integrity. So why on earth would I want to engage with somebody like this who doesn't grasp the fundamental aspect of what I'm talking about? Okay, it's not just a footnote. It is literally the scholars who agree that it can be translated a different way, which actually harmonizes with the Old Testament. Because in the Old Testament, do we ever see the Son being involved in creation? Never. Only the Father is called God, the Creator in the Old Testament. You'll never see the Son anywhere alive, being worshipped, being honored, being prayed to around the throne of the Father and the angels, or ever called God or the Creator. So what's more likely? My translation, which can be translated as thy throne is God or your throne is divine, or his translation where they've added, he says in the Greek, it's not there, and they use a vocative there instead of a predicate nominative. So all of a sudden now, Paul is telling us that God the Father is calling Jesus Christ the Creator of the universe. Well, what happened? Why is that not in the Old Testament? Why is that a surprise to us? Okay, none of the prophecies in the Old Testament talk about the Son of Man or the Son of God being involved in creation. It's always the one who's going to be made higher than the angels and given a greater name. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a classic example of what happens when you are blinded by the Trinity. Okay, you can't think outside the triangle. You're completely high on trying to find mine and can't even address the arguments. Did he address the arguments that major scholars agree with my position? No. And then he lied and said, I can't give him one single scholar that agrees with me. That's a lie. Okay, and he gave me plenty of scholars. I don't care about that. Again, what matches the Old Testament? My position, which aligns perfectly, or his position where they had to add words like he says, that don't even align with the Old Testament. He didn't deal with the fact that Hotheos is used hundreds and hundreds of times, and every time it's used for God. Not, oh God, but a mere 4 times. So the fact that this individual can't grasp such a basic concept shows why he's still a Trinitarian. Also, there was no chat GTP to come up with my argument at all. That was simply to show you in scholarship which scholars agree with my position. Okay, I said which scholars agree, and they broke it down. Very clear, very concise. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and go on and do a bunch of research for this guy. So his argument to say chat GTP, and then he went to chat GTP, and even his chat GTP cooked him because it says, or it can point to all other alternatives. For him not to acknowledge that this verse has alternatives which actually are more reflective of the ancient literature in the Jewish mindset shows a superficial level of intelligence. This guy claims to be a whatever, he gets into the Greek and the Hebrew. No, he's surface level deep. He's not an intellectual, and people like this are to be avoided.
Trinity, oh Trinity, in mein Potion 1, 2, 3, Albert Bryce Stein, making of the science, ach mein Mann.